left Loch Talbot and went along the west coast of Jura in the Sound of Islay. We saw a number of raised shore platforms and raised beaches. Some of them are as much as 40 metres above sea level. We passed distilleries on Islay as we went along. It was very calm and sunny as we headed into Port Ellen. A new landing stage for the ferries has been completed since we were last here, and it's right next to the visitors' moorings. We enjoyed watching the skiffs having some time trials. The fishing boats were coming in, and we decided to see if we could get a lobster. We chose a small one, and they put bands on its claws, and then they gave us 2 huge crabs. The lobster was carrying a lot of eggs, and then it started wriggling and shook them all over the boat. It ended up falling into the sink. After cooking the lobster, we thought we ought to deal with the crabs, because we didn't want them escaping and scuttling around the boat. The crabs looked enormous to us, with pinchers nearly as big as the lobsters. We didn't know how to manage crabs and how to cook them, so we had to ask the family for advice. The next day we went to Rathlin Island. We had crabs for lunch and had to crack them with the mole grips. It was so calm we had to motor most of the way, and we hoped that the engine would be all right because it had been losing revs before. This is a lookout on Rathlin, where you can go and watch all the birds. We stayed just the one night because we were anxious to get back to Conwy, so the next morning we set off for Copeland Island, anchored there for the night, and then left again the following morning to go to Port St Mary. We arrived in the early evening and they'd just started racing. We picked up one of the visitors' borings for the night. We didn't need to go alongside the wall. The next day we went to Conwy and got in just before the weather started to deteriorate.